Hello and welcome to, drumroll please, my 2025 travel wrap. So in 2025, I went to 6 different places and I thought it'd be fun to do a little blind ranking of all the places I went. These are based off 1, the destination and what I chose to do, and 2, just my personal experience and headspace I was in. So this is not a reflection on the place at all. I genuinely loved all the places that I went to, and I would go back to almost all of them. Let's go to the wheel. Greece! So I went to 6 different places this year in no particular order. I went to Las Vegas, France, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Bar Harbor, Maine, and Athens, Greece. So Athens. I have been to Athens for like 3 hours total before I went on a cruise with my family of the Greek islands. So I'd never been to Athens before technically. So I'd never really explored Athens, and I found a cheap ticket and I was like, I've gotta go. As for Athens itself, I found Athens to be extremely beautiful. I love Greek history and Greek architecture, so I had the time of my life exploring around Athens. I personally found it to be super safe, super clean, but I did talk with another American I met on the trip, and he found lots of like needles on the ground outside of his hotel and saw people shooting up. I did not have that experience. Also, I'm in the suburbs of New York City. I've seen that in the city, so it's like, I don't know, not too shocking to me at that point. As for how I was in my headspace, the beginning of 2025, I was working a job that really did not serve me. I was working 50 hours a week and commuting 20 hours a week on top of it, and I hated my life. So when I went to Athens, that was 4th trip of the year. So when I was in Athens, I really felt like myself again. For reference, the year before I was in my hedge fund era, I was living in Ibiza, Spain, traveling all the time. So when I went to Athens in October of 2025, I, for the first time, like really felt like myself again. So for that reason, of my experience and my thoughts on Athens, I would rank Athens pretty high up on this board. I'm not sure where I want to put it. Okay, I think we're gonna list Athens as B tier. So right in the middle, I feel like a good place to start. Oh yeah, so I have 6 locations. I think I'm gonna fill them all out, and then the last one I can put anywhere. So let's see how that goes. All right, back to the wheel. Paris was my last solo trip of the year. I went in November of 2025, and I met up with my best friend who was my roommate when I lived in Ibiza. So that is the groundwork for how I was and for where I went. I stayed mostly in Paris, so I did do a day trip to Brussels, a day trip to Strasbourg, which is the Christmas capital of the world, and also I did a day trip to Mont Saint Michel. So there's a lot of movement going on there. For me, I always have found Parisians to be very nice, but that's probably because I'm just like white and European looking and I try to speak French. I know that's not the situation for everyone who visits France. But yeah, I genuinely love Paris. I think it's so beautiful and aesthetically pleasing. It just makes me really happy to be there. I had a great time on all my day trips. I really liked Belgium. Mont Saint Michel was beautiful. I think I just did really well picking all of the places I wanted to go. Seeing my best friend was definitely extra points. I think Paris was really good. It might have to be my S tier, I think, for this year. I think it was my best trip that I went on. Granted, the food in Paris is not great, but I think I was just genuinely really happy there, really happy to see my friend, happy overall. So yeah, I think we're gonna put Paris at S tier. Frankly, I'm pretty happy that the wheel has blessed me with this because I was just in Vegas. I just did a Vegas vlog and my thoughts about Vegas, and honestly, that was a trip to get my brother comfortable with traveling or going on a big family vacation. So it wasn't a place that anyone in my family was like dying to go. It was more so somewhere we could go with our timeshare and not have to pay a ton of money. Don't get me wrong, you know by this point I lived in Ibiza, you know I love a party, but I just did not really like Vegas that much. I don't think I would ever really need to go back, ever, unless some company was flying me out, and paying for everything. Other than that, I don't foresee myself going back to Vegas. I found some of the food to be pretty good. I really liked In-N-Out Burger my first time there. That was fun. I was happy to be with my family, of course. That makes the trip 10 times better. And I really liked the Tournament of Kings at Excalibur. That was fun. So there definitely were some highlights, but the nature of Vegas itself, I'm gonna give a D tier. Sorry if you disagree, I don't care. So I was in Cancun for a few days, but spent the majority of my time in Mexico City. And I generally think Mexico City is one of my favorite cities on this planet. The food, phenomenal. I don't think I've had better food anywhere in the entire world, or anywhere that I visited, I guess I can say. There were so many museums that I only saw a few, and I would have wanted to see so many more. All of the shopping was phenomenal. There's so many adorable boutiques. I just was like so entertained every single day. I got to practice my Spanish, which I love. Mexican people are just like so nice. So overall, loved that trip. And I think we're gonna put it at A tier. Had I visited Mexico City later in the year, it would have been S tier instead of Paris. But Mexico was my trip right after I quit my job. I literally had my last day of work, and then 3 days later I went to Mexico, and I was like feeling so lost. I was like, did I just do the right thing? Like, what is wrong with me? Am I ever gonna make money again? And Mexico was the trip that like I just reset everything, reset my life on. So had I not been in emotional turmoil, it would have been S tier. But Mexico City is phenomenal. It's gonna be A tier for now, and I'm sure whenever I go back, it'll be S tier on my list. So the wheel has basically forced me to put Puerto Rico at C tier. And honestly, I might have put it there myself or at B tier, because my time in Puerto Rico, this is nothing against Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is amazing, and I would love to go back there. They have such the nicest people, maybe even nicer than Mexico. The food is phenomenal, music great. But I personally, it was a rough trip. My friend and I went to Puerto Rico to see Bad Bunny at La Residencia in El Coliseo, and that was the reason we came. But we get there learning that there have been lots of problems with StubHub, which happened to be where we bought our tickets, that the person who sold us our tickets had still decided to go to the show anyway and scanned in one of them and entered El Coliseo. So basically, we were stuck at the security area for almost an hour trying to figure out what to do, because only one of us would have been able to go in. An angel appeared. So she had bought 2 extra tickets for her and her boyfriend, or her and her husband. So just in case one of their tickets didn't work, their extras would, which is insane because I paid almost $400 for that ticket. Girl, how much money do you have? Good for her. Good for her. I was in my unemployment era then, so I did not have the money to do that. But yeah, that was a really stressful hour of my life. Bad Bunny has been my #1 artist for probably 3 years. But yes, we did end up going in. The concert was phenomenal. And then the next day we laid at the beach. My friend got sun poisoning. So then we had to cancel some of our activities because she didn't feel good, which not her fault, maybe her fault because she wasn't wearing sunscreen. As you can tell from my short stories, it was just a really chaotic trip. I would love to go back to Puerto Rico and do it again with hopefully less stress and less chaos. So for now, yeah, Puerto Rico's gotta go at C tier. One day we'll go back and it's going to be higher, that's for sure. The last place on our list is Bar Harbor, Maine. That is a trip I went on with my family. We do a yearly trip together with my family and my cousins, so there's 8 of us. And it's always just a really good trip. We rented like this beautiful house right on the water, and we did lots of hiking. We walked through Bar Harbor a lot and all the cute little stores. So many delicious wild Maine blueberries and blueberry ice cream. And of course, like any trip where I am not the one tapping my credit card for every transaction is a great trip. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Yeah, so I think like the combination of it being a family vacation, so being with my family, not having to pay, and also being in the mountains was really nice and peaceful. It's not normally my preferred trip to be in the mountains, but it was still really nice and lovely. I wish I could put this between like C and B tier. I guess maybe we'll just have to put it. It's like comparing Bar Harbor to the chaos of Puerto Rico. I feel like I can't put them in the same tier. Yeah, so I guess mine's going B tier. So that is my final list and rankings for my 2025 travel wrapped. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I'm excited to do it next year when I hopefully will have trips to Costa Rica, back to Ibiza, Italy family trip, and Peru are my goals. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back to travel vlogs quite soon when I'm in Costa Rica in the end of February. It was so great talking with you, and I will see you soon.